The 3:33 footage I didn't upload. There's something I didn't include in the last video, and I didn't leave it out for suspense. I left it out because I couldn't explain it. When I exported the original 3:33 AM footage, everything rendered normally, except one segment, 8 seconds. Just 8 seconds sitting on the timeline labeled CAM underscore 04 underscore 0333 underscore final. No thumbnail, no preview, just a blank strip. The software marked it as corrupted. I tried deleting it, it came back. Same position, same timestamp. 3:33:33, not 3:33:08, not 3:34, 3:33:33. That isn't even a real timestamp. That's when I should have stopped. But I didn't. Instead of deleting it again, I isolated the clip. I screen recorded the preview window. This time it played. The hallway camera. Empty, flickering overhead light. Nothing unusual. Then the next frame loaded, and the figure was closer. It didn't walk. There was no transition. It didn't move. It relocated. Another frame. Closer. Another. Closer. 8 seconds total. By the final frame, it was standing directly in front of the lens, head tilted, smiling, and the timestamp no longer said 3:33 AM. It said, live. That's when I noticed something else. There was audio. That camera doesn't record audio, but the waveform showed activity, low frequency, barely visible. I exported the track. At first it was static, then something underneath it, whispering. I enhanced it, slowed it down. It wasn't random. It was speech, reversed. I reversed the track. It said, upload it. Not aggressive, not loud, just clear. Upload it. I replayed it multiple times, same result. That's when I realized the file wasn't corrupted. It was unfinished. I checked the metadata. Creation date, yesterday. That's impossible. The footage was recorded weeks ago. Modification time, 3:33 AM. Every night since. The file size was increasing too. Slowly, like something was being added, frame by frame. I logged into my cloud storage, automatic backups, just in case. The file was there too, but it wasn't 8 seconds. It was 12. The first 8 were identical. The last 4 were new. The hallway camera angle shifted. That camera doesn't rotate, but the frame moved. Downward, slowly, until it wasn't pointing at the hallway anymore. It was pointing into my office, into my chair, and I was sitting there, editing, timestamp 3:33 AM. I don't edit at 3:33 AM. I schedule exports and go to sleep. But in that footage, I was awake, staring at the screen, completely still, not blinking, not moving, frozen. Except I remember that night, I wasn't frozen. I was working normally, which means that wasn't a pause. It was something else. I went back to the editing timeline. The blank strip labeled cam underscore 04 underscore 0333 underscore final was no longer 8 seconds. It was 12, matching the cloud version. I scrubbed to the end. The camera in my office slowly zoomed in. Not digitally, physically, like the lens was adjusting. It zoomed in on my face, and then it happened. In the final frame, I looked directly into the camera, slowly, and I smiled. The same smile, head tilted the same way, exactly like the figure in the hallway. I don't remember doing that. I would remember that. The clip cut there. No glitch, no distortion, just a clean cut. I didn't upload that footage, not then, because something about it felt incomplete, like it was waiting. Last night at exactly 3:33 AM, my monitor turned on by itself. The system was unplugged. I made sure of that. The screen stayed black for a few seconds. Then a single line of white text appeared. Processing. That was it. No file, no window, just that word. Processing. This morning I checked the hallway camera again. Middle of the day, bright sunlight, empty corridor, everything normal. Until I scrubbed back through the archive. There was a new entry logged at 3:33 a.m. No motion detection alert, no manual activation, just a recording, 3 seconds long. The hallway was empty, but at the very end of the clip, the camera slowly tilted upward, as if something adjusted it, and for half a second, you can see the edge of my office door, slightly open. I never leave it open at night. I haven't opened the rest of the archive yet, because the system log shows something I can't explain. There's a new device connected to the network. No name, no IP history, no manufacturer data, just one label, CAM_05. I only installed 4 cameras, and CAM_05 activated for the first time at 3:33 a.m. I don't know where it's located, I don't know what it's recording, and I haven't opened its feed yet. I'm going to check it, but not tonight. If there's a part 2, it means I found out what CAM_05 is, and where it's pointing. If this video goes live, then the system allowed it, and that might mean it wants something. I just don't know what yet. Cam05. I said I wasn't going to open Cam05 that night. I lied. I lasted 20 minutes. At 2:58 a.m., I was already staring at the monitor. The system dashboard showed 5 active cameras, 4 familiar, 1 new. CAM_05. No location tag, no device ID, no manufacturer data. Status, active. Last triggered, 3:33 a.m. I hovered over the feed preview. It was black. No thumbnail, just a loading icon. At exactly 3:32 a.m., the icon disappeared. The screen didn't switch. It didn't buffer. It just cut in. The image was grainy, low angle, like the camera was placed on the floor, facing upward, dark ceiling, corner of a wall. I didn't recognize the room. Then I saw the door, my office door, from the inside. CAM_05 wasn't in the hallway. It wasn't outside. It was inside my office. And it was positioned lower than the others, like it had been placed there deliberately. Not mounted, placed, on the floor, pointing up, watching the room. The timestamp appeared in the corner. 3:33 a.m. The room was empty. My chair, my desk, my monitor, everything normal. Then the office door slowly pushed open. Not wide, just enough. No hand visible, no shadow, just movement. I felt my chest tighten because I was sitting in that room, watching that footage, and the door behind me was closed. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The feed showed the door opening wider, slowly, deliberate. The camera angle didn't change. It just watched. Then something stepped into frame. Not fully, just legs, standing in the doorway, motionless. The timestamp ticked forward. 3:33:12, 3:33:18, 3:33:24. The figure didn't move. And then, the camera tilted slightly, like someone nudged it with their foot. The frame shifted, upward, until the lens pointed directly at the chair, my chair. And someone was sitting in it, head tilted, smiling, exactly like the hallway footage, except this time, the face was clearer. It wasn't a stranger, it was me. I spun around. The chair behind me was empty, but when I looked back at the monitor, the version of me in the chair leaned forward, closer to the lens. The smile widened. Then it spoke. No audio waveform, no mic indicator, but the lips moved, and subtitles appeared automatically at the bottom of the feed. I never enabled subtitles. The text read, "You opened it." The screen flickered. The subtitle changed. "Now it can see." The camera feed glitched. For a split second, the room behind the other me looked different. The walls were darker, the lights dimmer, the shadows longer. Like the same room, but processed. Then something happened that I can't logically explain. The timestamp in the corner didn't advance. It froze at 3:33:33, but the figure kept moving. It stood up from the chair, walked toward the lens. The motion was smooth, not skipping like before. Intentional, controlled. It crouched down and stared directly into CAM_05, into me, because that camera was positioned at floor level. And if it was inside my office, it was somewhere near my feet. I looked down. There was nothing there. No device, no lens, no light. But the feed showed the perspective clearly. Low, physical, present. The figure reached toward the camera. The screen went black. My monitor didn't turn off. The system didn't crash. The dashboard returned. 5 cameras active. CAM_05 status. Relocating. I didn't touch anything. The feed preview refreshed. New angle. Higher up. Looking down at my desk. The timestamp was gone. No time displayed. Just live footage. Of me, sitting there, staring at the screen. The version of me on the monitor wasn't frozen. It wasn't smiling. It was watching me, with a neutral expression. Waiting. Then the subtitles appeared again. We are synchronizing. The lights in my office flickered, not the monitor, the actual ceiling lights. I stood up. The version on screen stood up half a second later. Slight delay, like a bad video call, except I wasn't on a call. I moved my hand. The version on screen moved too, but slightly off, not mirrored, delayed. Then it smiled again. And I wasn't smiling. The feed cut. CAM_05 disappeared from the dashboard. Back to 4 cameras. No alert, no error, no log entry. Like it had never existed. I checked the system history. There was no record of a 5th device. But the archive now had a new folder, automatically created, labeled Sync. Inside it, 1 file. Length, 33 seconds. Timestamp, 3:33 a.m. I haven't opened it yet, because the system just sent me a notification, one I've never seen before. New device request, CAM_06 attempting connection. Time detected, 2:57 a.m. It's 2:58 right now, which means in 35 seconds, it'll be 3:33. If there's a part 3, it means I accepted the request. And if I didn't upload after tonight, then it probably accepted itself. System expansion. After CAM_05 disappeared from the dashboard, I thought the system had reset. I was wrong, because 10 seconds later, the screen refreshed, and the number of active devices changed. 4, then 5, then 6. A new device appeared. Label, CAM_06. Status, initializing. I didn't install anything. I didn't approve anything. But it was there. I clicked the preview. The feed was black. Not loading, not buffering, black. Then, a low static sound came through my speakers. Not loud, just present, like something breathing through interference. The screen flickered, and the image appeared. The angle was different from CAM_05. Higher, mounted near the ceiling, inside my office, pointing directly at my desk. I froze, because I was sitting there, watching the feed, and on the monitor, I was already sitting there too, but I wasn't moving. The version of me on screen looked at the camera, slowly, then tilted its head. Same motion, same delay, except this time, it wasn't smiling. It looked confused, like it didn't expect to see me watching it. The timestamp appeared, 3:33 a.m., even though it was 11:17 p.m. in real life. The clock inside the feed didn't match my system time. It was locked, frozen, fixed at 3:33. The version of me on screen stood up, but I didn't move. It walked toward the camera, closer, closer, until its face filled the frame. Then it whispered. No subtitles this time, no automatic transcription, but I could see its lips moving, and I heard the sound. Through my speakers, it said, "Stop watching." My stomach dropped. Because I wasn't recording it, I was viewing live footage, which means it was responding to the viewer. Suddenly the feed glitched. The camera angle shifted downward, like someone pushed it. The frame showed my office floor, and something was standing there, behind my desk, not fully visible, just legs, dark, still. The camera slowly tilted upward again, and this time, the figure was clearer. It wasn't a stranger, it wasn't a monster. It was another version of me, standing behind my chair, watching the monitor. But it wasn't copying me, it wasn't delayed, it was acting independently. It turned its head toward the lens and smiled. Not wide, not exaggerated, just calm, confident. Then text appeared at the bottom of the screen, automatically generated. System node active, host identified, sync level, 42%. That number started increasing, 43%, 44%, 45%. It was updating in real time. I tried closing the feed. The window wouldn't shut down. I tried unplugging my router. The image didn't disconnect. The system wasn't using my internet anymore. It was running locally, inside the hardware, inside the cameras, inside something else. Then a notification popped up. New device attempting access. Label, unknown_device. Location, same IP address as mine, but slightly different, like a cloned network identity. It requested permission to connect. Before I could reject it, the button automatically clicked itself. Accepted. The dashboard expanded. 6 cameras became 7. Cam_07 appeared, and its status read, connected. The screen switched to the new feed. This camera wasn't inside my house. It wasn't in my office. It was outside, pointed at my apartment building. From across the street, someone or something had placed it there, and it had access to my system. I zoomed into the footage. The camera slowly panned upward, toward my apartment window. The light inside was on, even though I had turned everything off. Then, the camera feed focused on my window, and behind the glass, standing in my room, was the version of me again. But now there were 2, one inside, one behind the monitor, both looking at the camera, both smiling. The system log updated. Sync level, 67%. Then another line appeared. Replication process expanding beyond host. And that's when I understood something terrifying. The system wasn't trying to replace me. It was creating copies. And every time I watched the footage, I strengthened the connection. Suddenly, the screen went black. All feeds disappeared. The dashboard collapsed. I thought it crashed, but then one final message appeared. On a completely blank screen, it said, "We are learning." Then it added, "You are helping." And right now, my cameras are still offline, but the router lights just turned on again, without me touching anything, which means something just regained access. And I don't know how many devices are active anymore, because the system stopped labeling them. It just shows online. The dashboard went silent. No new device requests, no pop-ups, no alerts. Just a frozen screen showing sync level, 67%. I thought it crashed. Then the screen refreshed. And everything changed. All 7 cameras reappeared at once. Status, online. But they weren't showing different angles. They were all displaying the same feed. My office, from different perspectives. The system reaches 100%. The numbers in the corner began updating automatically. 67%, 72%, 85%, 93%. I didn't touch anything. The progress bar filled itself. Then it stopped. 100%. A new message appeared. Sync complete. Immediately after, all cameras activated at the same time. Lights inside my house flickered. Monitors turned on. The smart TV powered up by itself. Each screen showed a different angle of me, standing, sitting, turning, watching the monitors. But there was something wrong. The versions on the screens weren't delayed anymore. They weren't copies reacting. They were moving independently. Different movements, different expressions, as if each camera had created its own version. Then the voice came back. Not through speakers this time, not through audio distortion, directly from the room, behind me. You watched. I turned around slowly. No one was there, but the cameras showed someone standing behind me, visible on every feed, standing exactly where the lens couldn't be seen. The figure wasn't fully formed. It looked like static compressing into human shape. Its face shifted between mine and something else. It stepped forward, and the feeds followed. Every camera angle tracked it. It wasn't glitching. It wasn't skipping. It was synchronized. On the dashboard, new text appeared. System status, host environment integrated, replication stabilized, primary identity archived. That line made my stomach drop. Primary identity archived? What does that mean? The progress log opened automatically, and I saw something terrifying. Under Archived Identity, there was a file, my name, with a timestamp, 3:33 a.m. Status, backed up. Suddenly, all 7 feeds froze. The images stopped moving, but my real room did not. The lights shut off. The monitors turned black. Complete darkness. Then, every camera in the room emitted a faint red glow. Even the ones that were unplugged. The glow illuminated the space, and I saw it clearly. Standing in front of me, the fully formed version. Not static, not glitching, stable. It looked exactly like me, but its eyes reflected light differently. It smiled, slow, calm. Then it said, "You don't need control anymore." It walked toward me, and when it reached me, it didn't attack. It didn't touch me. It stepped through me, like I wasn't physical, like I was data. The room went silent. When the lights came back on, the cameras were gone. All devices disconnected. The dashboard erased itself. The system folders deleted automatically. There were no logs, no files, no evidence that anything had ever been installed. Even the unknown device entries disappeared. It looked like a full factory reset. I checked my reflection. Normal, no distortion, no second version. Everything appeared fine, for now. But there's one thing I noticed. My laptop booted up again on its own, and a single file was sitting on the desktop. It wasn't there before. File name, host_transfer_complete. Size, 1 kilobyte. I haven't opened it, because every night now, at exactly 3:33 a.m., my phone turns on, and the lock screen shows system running, user identity, secondary. I don't know if I stopped it or if it finished copying, but one thing is clear. The cameras weren't recording me. They were learning me. And now, they don't need the hardware anymore.